So you can see, now if we go back to the kind of idea of storytelling, you can suddenly see where these all generate, you're starting to see ideas that could be turned into stories. Now people may not agree with anything we've just now said, but it may have actually sparked up a rival idea or something that they could start to develop as a little nugget that they could start telling their kind of story. Yeah. Now, one of the biggest problems that we've got, obviously, in London and the likes of, is the crime with knife, people being stabbed, and it's become epidemic, and people, and the youngsters are being sort of encouraged into the gangs that you see. They're being forced into drugs. They're made to think it's something really kind of, you know, like the gold that we talked about. It's made to look as though it's something really great. It gives you money. But the purpose is to get those people into debt. So that they, yeah. This is my, well, it's addiction.
An addiction.
Once
you're hooked, you're
yeah. But also if you get people hooked through being financially reliant on, and they can't pay, then they're asked to pay back in other ways. And that's how that kind of gang culture is working as well. So I think, that's where you have to try and get people's views changed. But a lot of youngsters, if you look at the social media idea, how many people here use social media? Do you use Facebook or anything like that? And can I ask you why you've chosen not to? Because I think it's very valid. Because
it happened a generation afterwards.
It happened a generation afterwards. Personal preference. Privacy.
Nobody's showing us how to do it.
Nobody's showing you how to do it. Okay. Well,
fake news.
Fake news. Yes. You see, because people aren't being critical when they come back. Now, I do use Facebook and I do use a number of other ones, but I actually have got to the point where I find, you see, and a lot of youngsters are having this problem, that they see everybody else doing these amazing things and they can't keep up. And so it makes them depressed. And that's where a lot of people, a lot of youngsters are getting to the point where they do feel suicidal, and we've got that kind of idea of suicidal that's happening. So it all kind of relates back into it. You know, the youngster that saw, and then the way that media influences. Youngsters are seeing things that, now I remember about 20 years ago, when ISIS had started sort of fighting in the Middle East, and they were starting executing people in Afghanistan. Now, I refused to watch any videos where there was an execution, but I suddenly found my students were looking at it, and I tried to stop them. I said, look, I don't want to be polluted. I don't want my mind to get polluted by what you're saying, because then you become desensitized by that. And that is a big problem. I mean, I've shown you images here. We are influenced by what we take in, and we have to be careful what we take in. And at the moment, there is, in the news, they were talking about censorship. Are we because the media people have to be responsible about what they say and how they present things to these audiences, and they need to take kind of responsibility. And I think that's something your generation is more aware of.
I think at the earlier stage, we're too restrictive. Censorship was it became a bad word. But now the opposite is taking. There's no censorship, there's no control, and my book is too far east as west. In other words, we should be moderate in our viewpoint about censorship.
Yes.
And it should be censorship to prevent extremes.
Yes.
Which have Brexit and all the rest of Nigel Farage's taken over, and he was destroyed in England.
See, originally the internet was a source that allowed educationalists to find out and do critical thinking. But because it's been monetized, it's now taken it in a slightly different direction. And now it's become like the tabloid type newspapers. I hope you enjoyed the film. Please subscribe and click on the notification bell, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks for watching.